come home to an empty house. All your birds have found their way south, and all your words get stuck in your mouth. Go on and plant a little garden in your heart.
Kit had formed a band with our friend Shira and two other friends of ours, and it was a girl group. It was five women who started that band, and that's when we started playing music together. And there were 5 of us, and then 3 of them had to go away for various reasons, and so we were like the only 2 left. And we still like, actually, we started a countryside project. That was the original envisioning of this project. We learned Kit had written a song that didn't really fit in with the girl group mold, and so we decided to learn it, just 2 of us, and that's when Gracious Calamity was born.
Baby done left me for another girl he saw selling machines on the side of the road. My baby done left me for another girl I saw them holding hands. That's how I know it was a day. It was a day like any other day. My baby done left me for another world, one that shined of salt and styrofoam. My baby done left me for another world. I could not take him where he wanted to go. It was a day. It was a day like any other day. It was a day. It was a day like any other day.
I grew up listening to the Beatles and classical music and Joni Mitchell, and I guess I started getting really into like older folk stuff, like really like old Irish songs and that sort of traditions. Like in college, I started listening to that. You know, got into like the Carter family. I know a lot of my background with the kind of music that we write is sort of more based on the music of the girl groups of the 50s and 60s, and like Laura Nyro is a huge influence on me, and she's sort of like, to me, someone who took the idea of doo-wop and just like pushed it to a new level and made it really like proggy almost, prog-wop. So I think our songwriting like sort of draws a lot from that sort of thing, but then the instrumentation we use is folk.
No, it was a day. It was a day like any other day. My baby done left me for another world, one that shined of salt and styrofoam.
I really liked what the Hoots seemed to stand for, which was this idea that everybody had something important to say and something important to do, and you know, maybe just for 5 minutes. And it was a way of coming together and getting inspired and seeing sort of what folks were doing, and I don't know, it was one of the most productive times in terms of like being creative for me, because I'd go every week and I would want to have something to share. It was this sort of completely optional deadline, and I would also just get so inspired by the stuff that I was seeing, you know, poems and songs and just like folks trying to figure out their own story. It was great.
Yeah, I think you hit on something that I consider like an essence of folk music, which is that music isn't just for musicians, and like the audience isn't just an audience. Like we are all both, and it doesn't matter like what instrument you play. Like at the Hoots, like you know, people would get on like some tapes and like voice loopers and you know make lots of weird sounds, just make like static with singing over it for like a while, and that was fine. Like that was awesome. And you know, it wasn't just about if you had a song or you had this or that. Like poetry is folk music to me. Yeah, it's like just the expression of like people who aren't professional musicians, who are just like people who have a day job or a night job and just want to express that inner human musical thing.
And even the idea that like even professional musicians are just people you could talk to, you know, like that was a huge revelation for me when I was in college, was this idea that there wasn't, that the barrier between the performer and the audience was totally artificial, that there was actually no real selection for who ended up on stage and who ended up in the audience, and in fact, if that was an interactive thing, just everybody benefited from that.